This graspable math is for anyone who's feeling a little uneasy about solving trig equations like this. And this video is just to show you how to get graspable math to do some of the heavy lifting for you. So I want you to imagine that you've already done the first couple of steps of solving this equation. That is to say, you've already moved over the k and you've already divided through by the a. And you've already inverse cosed. So we've already done the a and k step, and we've already done the inverse cos. And we're now at the point where we can say, well, one of the angles was pi over 4, and the other one was 7 pi over 4. We've tacked this on. We're going to get graspable math to do the rest of the algebra for us that's involved in solving for x. So the first thing you'd want to do probably would be to divide by the 2 here on both sides of the equation, whether it's in the first equation or the second one. That would be your first step. And you can get graspable math to do that in two different ways. One of them is to just hold down on the equal sign for a few seconds. And this pops up. Capital E stands for equation. So you can tell graspable math what you want to do to both sides of the equation. So I'm going to say divide by 2. And I hit done. It does that. So that's one way to do it. The other way is simply to drag the 2 over to the other side. And you'll see this horizontal line pop up, and that gives you a clue as to what it's doing to both sides of the equation. Of course, it's dividing. When you let go, all this happens. And now we've got a bunch of common factors to cancel. This 2 can cancel it with this one, so you just drag it on top of it. Now this 2 is dividing. It has to be applied to both the pi over 4 and the plus or minus 2 pi n. And again, you just drag it up, and you'll see those two horizontal lines popping up. So graspable math is telling you that it's dividing it's distributing the division of 2 to both of those terms, which is great. That's what we want it to do. Here's a common factor that can cancel. Just drag the 2. Now this division by 2, the way that I'm going to ask graspable math to deal with that is this. Remember that when you're dividing by 2, that's the same thing as multiplying by a half. And so pi over 4 times a half results in pi upstairs and the 4 and the 2 multiplying in the denominator. So I'm just going to ask graspable math to multiply this denominator by 4. And to do that, I just drag the 2 until it's right next to the 4. And now I just ask it to multiply the 4 and the 2. I'm going to now get rid of the pi over 3 by subtracting it from both sides. And again, I could hold down the equals and do e minus pi over 3, or just grab the fraction and drag it over. Now it's vertical lines popping up. I can get it to cancel the plus pi over 3 minus pi over 3 by just dragging those together. And the minus pi over 3 on this side, I can't combine it with pi n because they're not like terms. But I can combine it with the pi over 8, but they don't have common denominators yet. To get the common denominators, I just double click on the subtraction. Voila! I have matching denominators of 24. And then I'm going to write this pi times 3 as 3 pi, and then just hit the subtraction. So there's my solution for the first equation. And you can follow the exact same steps to get the solution for the second equation. There's another graspable that involves almost the exact same, well, it involves the same steps. It's just that your b here is a fraction pi over 2. So when you go to divide both sides by it, you'll notice that it is automatically doing it by multiplying by the reciprocal 2 over pi. So you're just going to drag that over and let those cancel each other out. And on this side, you're going to need to distribute the multiplication by 2 over pi by dragging it into the bracket. And the rest is very much the same as the previous example. So you can try that out on this equation and on the second